Another episode, and we're going to be talking about TVs, we're going to talk about movies, elements of all of those things. So, without further ado, like Captain Pike would say, hit it.
Welcome to the zone where geeks collide, where comics and heroes come alive. Marvel, DC, Starfleet in the mix. Lightsabers flash, we're nerding out quick. Rican's the name of the show. Dive into the worlds you already know. From the big screens to the comic store. Super stories and so much more.
Welcome back again to another edition of Rican. As usually, I'm Captain Mo.
And I'm Lieutenant Satan. Lieutenant Commander Satan. Those are clear,
Oh, excuse me, Lieutenant Commander Satan, yes. Number one, here we go. So, on this episode, there's one thing I wanted to talk about, which I don't know if this is going to be a hit or a miss. And the word is Voltron. Okay. Now I've already saw that they wrapped up in May. Jake is it J.K. No. One of the actors. Now my name's drawing a blank to me. He was at a con. They asked him about Voltron. Couldn't give too much information. All that is done, huh?
Sterling K. Brown. Is that who you're talking
Sterling
about?
K. Brown said yes. It's done. It's going to the principal photography, and that's all he can talk about. There's no trailer. I mean, it's only been like, what? It's May, June, July, August, September. I mean, we're already into the following year, 6 months into it. They should have had at least a teaser. We don't have a teaser at all. This is going to be like one of those that it stays quiet to maybe a month or two, and hopefully maybe give us something, or they're just going to go straight and open, which I would think that's kind of heard of because, in the idea of selling
you
a
mean
movie.
just put the movie into theaters and not tell nobody it's out?
It's, just put it out there and just give like a 30-second shift. Voltron, Defender of the Universe in theaters. Boom.
I think one, that would be highly testy to do. Also, that's like assuming that people actually care about Voltron that much and not the sound. I don't think they do.
No,
So like,
they're gonna promote it.
They haven't announced.
Because it's Voltron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would
They
see
haven't
it.
announced when it's supposed to come out anyhow, so I don't think that.
Pizza Hut's coming out.
Right?
Pizza Hut
Like,
the first one to grab it.
yo.
Grab your Voltron package.
Or Domino's.
Oh, Domino's, there you go. Not Papa John's, no.
Domino's will do the Happy Meal Voltron with the toy.
You have to get all 5 toys. or
Get
whatever,
5
like,
lines, merge it
yeah.
together, open it up, and there's a cheeseburger inside.
Yeah, I think they'll better off,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's
So-
like, I mean, it's kind of unheard of.
But they
because-
haven't announced when they're going to release the movie. So I think that we're
That
making
too.
assumptions about what they're going to be doing with it. It's a
Mhm.
little bit too early, especially since they just finished production. It could just as easily, they might not even put this movie out for the next couple of years because of what they're trying to achieve with it. If they're trying to do like certain differences in their, special effects, they
Mhm.
might take a year or two to work on this movie.
Well, the special effects, and when we're talking about, the 5 lines merging to one super robot. Now, that's already been done with the Power Rangers, and hell, even with with the Transformers. But of course, they did a terrible, variation of Devastator when they took all the, those are the Constructicons. It's supposed to look like a giant, one-piece man-like, machine, but they did this other crossover with like, that's Devastator? Wow, I wish the money. So I'm just thinking, it's like, are they trying to save money on marketing and maybe wait 2 months before it happens? Or they're going to come out with it in such a big way that it's just going to then blow us over?
But again, you're making assumptions.
Like I said, I'm
There's
making assumptions.
There's no way
The
that
only
we
thing-
could go. They could be like, look, we're not going to release this movie until 2029. So it means that they have until 2029 whenever they decide to do this to release it. So I don't think that them not saying anything now really says anything about the production. I just think the production ends.
Yeah.
Do you know how many movies have ended production and then not been released for years until years? I mean, not like 1 or 2, like 3, 4, 5 years after the fact. So I don't think that
or
says
movies
anything.
have had that use very little marketing. For instance, I mean, I don't know in theaters. I mean, I saw one trailer in the theaters, but the billboard is what caught my attention. When I was at my grandmother's house back then, God rest her soul, I saw the banner that said Aliens. and that's it. And there was only like one trailer, one not teaser, but a long trailer about it, and that's it. And I was like, what? I gotta go see this.
And how long was that before the movie came out?
At least a month before the movie
came
out.
I guarantee you that movie was probably in production for like a good year and some change.
I would agree with that.
Just ended.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it just ended. I think we need to wait and see because for all we know, again, like I said, they might not even release the movie. We don't know. When it comes to productions, as much as we're excited for this, I don't like crossing the line of thinking and wondering how they're going to promote it or how they're going to put that out there, because what if they don't? You know, I remember when they were talking about the Evangelion movie, and it was what a workshops I was supposed to be doing this, and we were all
Batgirl didn't even get out at all.
Exactly. So it's like all these things that we can talk, we can be like excited for and wonder when, but then what happens is if that they don't do it, we're never gonna get it. Why am I gonna? I don't want to wonder what's gonna happen with it.
Speaking of Batgirl, I had saw something, whether it was Facebook or through YouTube, where they were talking, where they put like a small announcement. I'm sure it's an AI fake of Batgirl. I'm talking about what's her name, Jenna Ortega as the Batgirl, but I don't remember if she was the lead actress in that film that they locked away. I mean, I know Brandon Fraser, who plays a part in it, he said it himself, said that movie's good to go. You need like maybe 6 months to a year in principal photography and put it out.
Well, that and again. Yeah.
They're trouble.
Yeah.
They're not really good with the people right now.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I mean, of course they do. Like what they did with what's his name, for Kang the Conqueror. I mean, you already got into one bit of trouble, and in all essence, it was a misdemeanor, not a huge crime. But as far as appearance is concerned, being that it had to deal with another woman, of course.
Yeah. And
then they kicked him off. I mean, he still has stuff that's already been filmed and done, but then they switched it over. And they brought in Robert Downey Jr. Now you have Doomsday instead of Kang the Conqueror. So,
again, celebrities are people too.
Yes. They can get
They
they can get very naughty, these people. Very naughty. No,
I know. I think if people hold them to a standard that they're not, just because that they're entertainers or they're famous doesn't mean that they're better than or matter more or more interesting.
Here's a question I got for you guys.
Sure.
Since we're speaking about Voltron, how will you end that movie of Voltron?
I wouldn't have even filmed it. I don't like Voltron.
Well, I like Voltron, and if I'm watching,
and this is taking off the network.
I'm a Gundam. I love mechas. First of all, I'm a giant mecha fanatic as much as I am a giant kaiju fanatic. So Gundam Wing growing up was a big thing for me. Magic Knight Rare Earth was a big thing for me. So like.
Voltron was my.
I know, but the thing is that Voltron, I've gone back to watch Voltron, and I did not get into it the same way I did those.
The original or the second time it came out?
No, okay.
Because remember, it came out.
Sir.
The original was.
Sir, and I say this to anybody watching right now, I'm a victim of the Voltron fandom. All right, both times. All right, because I went and I watched the original series, and I was like, all right, cool, like it's all right. It wasn't the best, but I was like, let me see what's going on. Went to go watch the new Voltron series, and what a toxic. Crazy story, not just the storyline, but the fandom in itself was crazy toxic too. And it got to a point where I was just like, yo, I don't even think it's that big of a deal. Like, I almost was like, you know what? I don't even care about fandom anymore. That's how bad the Voltron fandom was. All right.
Now, me, the same way. It's like I go way back when it was when robots were introduced as the first anime from Gundam Z, Grandizer. You know, those Star Avengers, when they had 3 different ships that formed 3 different types of robots. I was in that era, and then Voltron came along, and the 5 Lions are great. But then I said the same thing about 2 cars, 2 trucks, this 2, that 2, this 2. It's like, how many pieces does this guy have to put together? And I'll form the head and say, oh, that's another airplane. Oh, let me go in. You know, it's like, okay, you know. And then they did a movie where both of them were together. And they're fighting the same thing. But if I'm doing a live action, I'm not going to make it campy. Don't make it campy. Don't really make it. I mean, if you're going to bring live action, try to give it a good story, but don't make it a campy story. Don't make it so that you're sitting there and you're thinking, you know, I'm better off watching the anime, even though it wasn't that great. But you know what? Better than this.
The thing is that it is made in camp. It's literally a child of camp, right? So like,
True.
that's like saying like making Star Trek not campy or Star Wars not campy. Like that they are campy. Like it's just like something like you can make it a little bit darker, you can make it a little bit grittier, but it's still something that came from camp, right? So that lives heavily in that environment.
It's not impossible.
No, it's not.
It's not. Like I said, all it takes is the right script, the right person to look at this and say, oh, this is campy, but I want to bring it to a general audience. Now, because the audience that watched it are now adults. They remember it one way, but then you got another generation. How are they going to remember it? So you want to bring it so it balances both.
They're going to be comparing the storylines from the original to the new one because those are two different storylines.
Yeah.
Two separately different storylines.
Of course
not
they
even
are.
connected.
Now,
so it's like,
here's my movie of Voltron. Talk about how they're going to come and destroy Earth, and one story about the first one. Then never showing Voltron yet.
No.
Until the end, when they got all of them and they say, so how we do this? We form Voltron.
No.
And right there it ends, because now we got a second part.
so you're pulling a whole Avengers Assemble thing where like he doesn't say Avengers Assemble until the last damn movie.
You know what I'm saying? And then they were like, oh, I gotta wait till the second part.
But you know the whole.
I see your vision.
But you know how the whole part goes is that let's form Voltron, and it's like Dynaphone connected, intracells up.
No, you know what would be so funny?
He did not fight anybody.
No.
There's no special effects.
No.
The only effects is him, because in the original one before Voltron, they used to shoot, fight regular war. Have them fight the bad guys like that until the end.
Until they need it.
I would form the head, and it ends just like that. You're like, oh, I gotta watch the next one.
Yeah.
Versus you do 10 minutes of them fighting Voltron, and then the rest of the thing is Voltron. Like, I need the story now. You know what I mean? I want to know each one, how you found them.
Yeah.
Because
I would go.
The little kids don't know about.
Right. I would go as far as saying that if they went a different direction, and I'm just assuming here, and just out of happenstance thought that they would probably go into where it's already done, and then you see the lions. But the lions are fighting. No, they're fighting the fighter crafts, using their weapons or whatever, until they let out a rogue beast. When they let out the rogue beast, that's when it's like, okay, they do it. But somewhere towards the middle, so you see Voltron more than once.
All right, I got you.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But if you do it that way, it should be like they got caught, and then they was like, who are you? Who's Voltron? And they
The
tell the
Voltron
story
Force,
of
yeah.
how they became, maybe,
Yeah.
they were.
You go back into time with each character.
I don't know.
Well, see, and then I'm from someone who I barely remember the storyline. I remember Voltron, like actual like construct of him or whatever. But like, if the whole movie they talk about Voltron, right? They talk about the actual fighting, or maybe they're finding the pieces of Voltron, but they don't know it's Voltron. They're trying to figure out what Voltron is, and then the ending, would be them finally putting the pieces together.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably
Why they need Voltron anyway?
Yeah, why do you need?
You know what I'm saying? So you probably have to concentrate more on the enemy itself and the reason why.
Well,
I don't even know what Voltron is.
In the original, from what I remember of the original opening, they had.
Wasn't that they
what happened was
bad guys, so they didn't need Voltron.
Right. So they created Voltron, and then he defended against whatever invading force, and then the five lions separated and hid and went back to wherever their alcoves are and hid there until needed again.
Now, Voltron is purely.
Make it a myth, like someone saying, "We need Voltron." You know that was a myth.
That was a myth.
Yeah.
And that one guy looking for that.
What do you mean,
finds
Johnny
it.
Megas?
And
Finds it.
But not even that. Like, okay, so just to ask clarification, Voltron is mechanical, right?
Right.
Not.
He is
organic.
mechanical, yes.
Magical in some way.
That's
like
fine.
They feel,
But he's not organic.
Right.
No,
Okay,
no,
got
it's
you.
not organic.
All right, because that was my issue with Pacific Rim, was that they literally took the concepts of like the Ava unit and the mecha that it was.
The Jaegers, right?
The Jaegers, right?
Yeah.
The Jaegers are essentially like a mechanical Gundam with a Ava unit component, the drift compatibility.
The drift compatibility, yes.
Again, I love Guillermo Cameron, I love you, but it was the stupidest thing you've ever done because like it made no sense. Why did they need to be telepathically compatible to operate a mechanical machine? All right.
That I didn't understand.
But the thing is that movie was a conglomerate of a whole bunch of mecha movies, which is, again, I love Guillermo. Guillermo's a giant mecha fan, so I saw what he was trying to do, but I think that there was lost translation in like editing and the actual putting together.
Was based on Gundam and Voltron, because
and that's the thing.
The thing was Gundam, but Voltron does have a mindset with the lions, because some of the lions do not react with nobody else.
No, they're sentient. Okay. They're kind of sentient.
You don't have to combine your brain with it.
And that but that makes sense in that aspect if it's made that way, whether it's through magic or shit like that.
AI,
but whereas in the Pacific Rim movie, they didn't have any organic material to actually add to that. So like we're at the AVA units, I've ever seen Neon Genesis Evangelion. Those mecha suits are angels, actual creatures that they took and put mechanical pieces onto them to control them, make them into the AVA units, and had the plug suit, which was them putting the person into it. That's why they had to be drift compatible with the AVA unit, because they're controlling an organic being.
Voltron is controlled by the pilot.
Voltron is like a magic.
It's controlled by the pilot.
Right. But it's
movements are controlled by the pilot.
But the thing is that
they said he picked you.
Yeah.
Right.
The mechanic
Now, there's an AI inside of it that does it.
Right, the whole Voltron, they made it, but it was by a guy that knew magic. So it's basically an AI.
Yeah, okay. And that makes sense.
And
that makes sense in certain aspects like that, because they would need to have some type of telepathic or emotional link with it, right? So that makes sense. So in that regard, okay. But in Pacific Rim, it was not done well. They didn't translate
the
it
other
very
one was
well.
like 13 pieces to make the other Voltron. And I'm like, who the hell?
Speed Racer?
Something like that. It was cars.
Either way, it's like it took 12 pieces, 13 pieces probably to put it together. So you're telling me there are 13 pilots that are trying to, no, there's the one pilot in the head. That's the pilot that controls the whole body. No, they just interconnect and lock, and that's it.
Yeah, that's how the Megazord is in Power Rangers. Yeah, they all control.
And they control, the main pilot controls it.
Well, technically, the pieces come together and they're moved into a central console in the Power Rangers to control it together.
Yeah.
Big technical. So, big technical. In Gundam Wing, it is one pilot, one suit.
Right.
They're not organic. Anybody could technically pilot these things, but you need to be a very good pilot. Right.
Guy King in anime, Guy King was another one, but he was part of a dinosaur robot, and that only 2 pieces came off. And that 2 pieces was the head of the dinosaur, which then connects, and then all of a sudden you see the arms, the legs, and then the small head that pops out from the big, what do you call it? I would have to say like dinosaur mouth, like the head of the dinosaur that they made. There's one battleship dinosaur. Once the head pops off, one piece goes in, and then all of a sudden the rest of the mech comes out from inside the head of that dinosaur. But one pilot flew it. Messenger Z, same thing. The pilot lands on the top of the head, controls the whole robot.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
So, like I said, bringing that to life and bringing it on the screen. I just hope they don't make it campy, and just make it very entertaining. That for us as old, people who grew up with it, and those who are now going to be watching it for the first time, hopefully will take something good from it and want to watch it more as it goes on.
I hope it's the campiest thing you've ever seen.
And with that, we're going to pay some bills. We'll be right back. These further, you know what? Go. Engage. Yeah, another Voltron. Engage.
Do you see me standing tall? I have it all, but lost it all. But why? A child, a world to see, but all I want is you proud of me.
Hey, we're back, and my heart is freaking empty. So let's refill it back up with another subject. And the subject is really detailed, and I'm really good with this. So, when is a component of a film good or wrong for the film, especially when it comes to telling the story?
Well, I don't think film is the right term. I think it should be
film,
like
TV.
When is it okay to change something in a media and it translates well and or doesn't translate well? The reason why
in the break we were talking about Pacific Rim.
Yes, we were talking about Pacific Rim about the drift compatibility, right? So now, it realistically did not make any sense at all for them to do that system because it's a robot, right? There's AI control, not AI control, but like you can have someone controlling it. You can have someone with a suit controlling it and still doing it, and it's mo capturing onto that actual mecha. And in regards to it being a organic link, would it make more sense? Like in the second movie, you said that they did it with the actual creature.
The actual aliens were infiltrating the Jaegers that they were building, the next generation of Jaegers. So basically, at some point, they hit a switch, and then all of a sudden, the seals cracked, and inside of it was something organic altogether, which were alien. Then they took over the current, I wouldn't say Jaegers because these particular ones were from Japan. The American ones, which had their own code names like Gypsy Avenger, and the others, they still did the two hemisphere, and these were the next generations. Then they flipped the switch. Then, as I said, they were invaded. They had the organics take over, and then after that, they were destroying the base.
So no, exactly. Even that you were saying that, and my mind just went.
Yeah.
Exactly. So okay, again, it did not make sense. There's no realistic parameters for it, right? Whereas in Neon Genesis Evangelion, we were saying before, like the Evangelions, the Avas are angels, actual organic beings that they took and put on mechanical pieces to control. So you needed to have a pilot who can actively sync with this creature.
Right.
And mind you, they didn't even tell most of the pilots that they were inside creatures. Like they were still trying to figure it out. So that makes sense. An organic creature with mechanical pieces that they are using a human to control, and that human has to be connected to that creature and or somehow organically linked, right? Whereas in a suit of metal, other than the fact that we are fighting kaiju, who decided that a neural link was the way to go? And I said before, that would have made sense if the person that they were utilizing, the only person who could have been like, you're the only person who can actually do this, is if the person had no limbs. And so you need a neural link to put them into the suit. All right, that'd have been cool. That'd have been dope. Doing like the Avatar, where they put them into the Avatar or whatever.
Like I said before in the break with RoboCop. RoboCop only had just the brain and the heart.
Yeah, but that makes sense in the regards to that. But in Pacific Rim, it made no sense whatsoever.
No.
None.
Going back to you,
So
omnipotent voice, as you were saying, with a remote, you could do that. And which I'd say that, yes, you could. As a matter of fact, drone pilots are a perfect example of that. Drone pilots can still wear a suit, still run with it. Like the suit is the mechanics of the Jaeger in itself. So every motion he makes,
they make.
Yeah. Same thing, because they were trying to say the same thing where the pilot gets connected directly to the machine itself, but the feedback in the connection between pilot and machine was too much. So that's when they said, let me do it with two people. Left hemisphere, right? Why don't you do like the drone pilots and just connect them remotely, and that's it? I mean, when they faced a creature that had an electromagnetic pulse, okay, then you're screwed because now you're disconnected altogether.
And also, we run on electromagnetic pulses as humans, so like again.
I was trying to find the anime that I just watched, where it's an alien robot, but he picks his pilot, and if he wind up picking a nobody that he's not even in the Marines or the Army, but they have that link, and I'm trying to find the name real good, because he became a perfect pilot for them, and he was the evil. I understand that, because he's an alien. Pacific Rim, you could have just done without the wiring. Put like we were saying, put an Xbox camera and do the Just Dance. That's it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like.
And that's an aspect of a story point that I think would have suited the story better if they didn't include it, right? Everything else would have been like, oh my god, this is a great kaiju movie, great, you know, I mean, giant mecha.
In itself, it was a good kaiju film, but that element kind of made it like.
And then plus what they said, we were getting rushed with alien monsters, so we needed something to help them. So we built this robot. Stop. Period. That's it.
Yep.
We didn't need nothing else on that. But you went on and said, but we needed more help No.
They added all that
You
for
just
what?
needed better pilots then.
Yeah.
Not more help because
Yeah.
putting a thing on someone's brain doesn't
Yeah.
make it a better robot.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So,
I mean, even in the
I was
second,
with you, Sam.
in the
Yeah.
in the
I
second
couldn't-
one, they
and I
fixed
love
those
giant
things.
mechas, which was maybe so it was like giant mecha kaiju.
Mhm.
Yes, I'm there.
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro, I'm
Yeah.
there. But-
Well, in the second one,
4.5.
the action was in the second one. The action was kind of a 3, but they fixed those things. Like I said, with the alien popping off in Japan, and all of a sudden they became. But then the little girl in the program.
They fixed it, or they realized they made a mistake.
Well, they fixed it with the Jaegers, because they had a pilot, which was a little girl with a younger woman, and she made her own Jaeger. So now she was like, like if I was the Jaeger, it was this tall.
Right.
But she made her own Jaeger, and which is connected to her, but there's no feedback, and now she controls it, and runs and fights and rolls and fixes things. But it's only about this size. But she put it together. She built it herself.
Right.
So she did the neural link
in
correctly.
this universe, anybody can create like a neural link. Fuck, that makes absolutely no sense. I'm so sorry. That is just the dumbest thing. And this is supposed to be like a post-apocalyptic world. But this is, again, goes into the idea that certain storylines are just dumb. So we were talking. We haven't seen the episode yet.
Which one?
But the Starfleet Academy episode.
Oh, and we already started hearing news about that one.
Yeah, so we have not seen the second or third episode yet so far. So, but and the reason why I want to bring this up is because I don't think this is a good change. So apparently in this episode, the Beta Zeds are a race in Star Trek, right? We know Deanna Troi from the Next Generation, and she was half.
She was half Beta Zed, so she was an empath.
From what's understood is that the Beta Zeds were telepaths, similar, not along the exact route of like Vulcans, but similar to Vulcans. Vulcans are touch telepaths. They are also have the abilities, the psionic ability is what it is. But now apparently in this episode of Starfleet Academy, it's saying that the Beta Zeds are empaths.
Yeah, empaths.
They're not telepaths. So it's like, is that just like maybe interpretation, or is that like they're actually changing it? Because I don't think that that's a good change.
No, it's not a good change. Because it now makes them disingenuous as far as characters are concerned. That's just my opinion on it. Because if they brought them in just the way they are, they said better that they should be all telepaths.
I think the only thing, like, I was going to call you too about that because I was confused. And the only thing I can think of, maybe they'll say they were a mix, but mixed with something different. Like,
well,
impact and
Deanna would be. They never really went into that, because the one time they introduced even a third, it was the episode called Tin Man, in which the character in question, he was considered a prodigy because of his telepathic ability, went far beyond any Beta Zed on the planet. He knew how to reach Tin Man from another star sector, and Tin Man was reaching him. So he was that powerful of a telepath. But the thing is, Deanna, her mother, and she married a human. She became half, so she can only feel your impressions from your feelings, because that's what she can reach out and feel. She can only have telepathic conversations with mothers and everybody else that's similar. No, just general Beta Zeds, because even though they reach into her mind, she already learned from her mother how to talk back using her mind, but she can't go into yours to read. Like Roxana would always goofingly go, Jean-Luc, shame on you. She found something dirty in his mind about her.
That was her little bold man.
That was her little bold man.
That was her little toy.
Well, and Deanna would be like, I sense you're not genuine. You're lying. You mean to do us harm. She senses those things, and she's learned to train to horn those senses of the fact that you can't lie to her, because she's gonna know that you're lying. You're giving off feelings that telling her that you're lying. But now you're bringing in the characters again, but you're telling me they're all empaths? All of them?
Yeah, all. It's not like just saying that
No.
Beta Zed.
I didn't understand. I don't understand that either.
No. Well, and the thing is that this is post the burn, right? So this is post when pretty much like almost like 80% of
You
Starfleet
still need to give me an
was
explanation why
certain planets as well. So like my thing is, right, I'm going to see how the change
tonight.
goes.
We'll be seeing it tonight.
But the question, like, does it make sense for them to change certain things in that aspect? because like the show is new and like introducing new people, it's gonna give them a different perspective. But then if they go back and watch it, which is what I was talking about the Strange New Worlds thing about, there's so many things in that.
This is after the burn. That's like after the decimation of the Federation.
So this is supposed to be like 1,000 years in the future from the original series.
Right.
Right.
Maybe if they explain what happened that gave them that power, maybe.
Maybe. Well,
maybe.
It
But
says,
the thing is, it's like I'm looking at it and I'm like saying to myself, well, okay, you're empathic only. So, you're telling me that what, Diona just exploded and have all these kids and these are the future Beta Z? No. They were telepaths to begin with, period.
So the article that I read is kind of implying that it might have been AI. That they might have relied a little bit too much on AI in their
to write
writing,
the story.
because AI, someone put it into AI, and AI lists Beta Zs. So on AI and the chat, it says that Beta Zs are empaths.
And we're going to be in a room full of other Star Trek fans like ourselves in a couple hours, and we're going to be watching this episode. We're going to be watching this episode. They're going to watch the first one, and they're going to watch the second one. And when they watch the second one, I'm pretty sure someone's going to say, that's all you're going to hear. Because they're like, yo, what did you do? What did you do?
This is why we need.
I mean, you have a Klingon.
Before.
Right.
Let a group, let 5-6 of the fans watch it and tell you yes or no before you even bring it out.
Right. I love the fact that, okay, there's a Klingon, right? So Klingon are a warrior race. They are pride, and it's everything about pride as far as a warrior is concerned. But this guy is more about healing. He wants to be a doctor. He wants to heal. That's how his pride comes from. So I can believe that, because it's not, throughout the show, in the history of the Klingons, there have been some that have had different views and different ideas. So I'm like, they're not, yes, they're still to the core, Kalis and stuff, but not so much. Worf is a perfect example. He was born, he lost his family. He then had Russian parents on Earth raising him, humans raising him, but yet his core ideologies, you would say, would be both Klingon and human. And he knew the right thing with those two branches of thought and learning because of both cultures. So I can believe that. That's well. This guy wants to be a doctor? Great. He doesn't want to be a warrior. I'm sure there's going to be one episode he's going to wind up whipping somebody's ass. And I'm going to be like, yeah. And then he's going to go back and say, do you need any help? And then stitch him up. That's going
to be his future boyfriend. No, I'm kidding. You never know.
The fact that you're taking the telepaths of the 24th century and you're telling me in the 31st century, they're just a bunch of empaths. They just only feel what you... No, they're telepaths. That's the core of who they are.
But again, I'm going to be the advocate on this.
Go for it.
Maybe since it's 1,000 years later, something happened, and maybe
evolution
in the course of the season, they would explain what happened.
Someone just shot you in their own head right now.
Star Trek, if you're listening, y'all better fix it. Make me look right.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't know. We'll have to see.
The only way I can see it, like they explain 1,000 or 500 years later, this what happened. And so that for the next 500 years, little by little.
Technically, it's been 100 years after the burn, right? So it's like 100 years from when the burn happened to this, right?
Yes.
So there's been 100 years of development after that, whatever. But
that could.
So like 1,000.
They need to explain that, though.
Yeah.
They need to explain that somehow, because you just don't come walking in with the species that we're already familiar. You came with someone new, okay, great. When you're bringing someone that already is canon, we know about them already. We've already experienced Deanna and her mother and everything else. So now you're telling us they're what? I'm like,
look at it this way.
I'm not buying it.
Look at it this way. We spent a long time thinking that Spock was not the type of person to go around sleeping around, hooking up and stuff like that. And then Stranger Rose was like, guess what? Not only is he a hoe, he's a cheater. So it's like he's everything. Like,
and
they're
on this subject as well, you pointed it out last night, the fact that in the TOS, when they had the episode in which, of course, Spock is to meet with T'Pring for and this was of course the first time they introduced T'Pring on the original series.
Amok Time is
Amok
the
Time,
episode, by the way.
That the two main characters that are in Strange New Worlds, which is Nurse Chapel and Uhura, and they look on the screen and they just like surprised, like, who is that?
Now, mind you, again, and this is why Strange New Worlds asked that, the idea of like changing certain things, is it good? So the reason why I noticed that is because in the episode, they're meeting T'Pring for the first time, but now 60 years later, we've got Stranger Worlds, and Stranger Worlds has established that Uhura and Chapel already knew who T'Pring was. So how does that make sense? It makes sense for all the other ones who were like, I have no idea who this is. Like, everyone's like confused, but that they were as confused as everybody else. So
I still love
like,
the show, and I still love the characters. Melissa, I love you, all of you. Okay, so but you got to talk to your writers. Go back and check the source material.
Apparently they can't because the show's already done.
Well, the show's already done. Yeah, that goes without saying.
But the thing is that, and it's not, and it's not so much that it's a bad thing. It's just that when it comes to a media, and particularly when you're trying to say that this takes place before a certain time, like there's things you have to be aware of when you're writing characters and or storylines that are going to correlate to that, because someone's going to go watch back the original series and be like, yeah, but that makes makes no sense, or with this they just did this and they just did that, but then in this episode they say this. Like I said, we
have our core of fact checkers.
Yeah, and it's not that
and they will fact check it and go,
I love Strange New Worlds. Strange New Worlds is my favorite live action fan fiction. Okay, It is my favorite thing. But it's got like, if I didn't love it so much, I wouldn't dissect it as much either. Like, so. That's just how it is. But yeah, I've noticed that.
I love the show. I love the premise of it. I love that they're doing the story of Christopher Pike, which deserves some notoriety and some talk.
We'll be talking a lot about porn.
The Gorn?
No,
porn.
Christopher Pike.
Oh.
Christopher Pike.
First of all,
Pike's a whore. Spock is a huge whore. Spock's a huge whore, bro.
Dude, Spock is the
true story.
Spock is the biggest whore on that show.
True story. When I actually met Ethan Peck for the first time, and it was like the year before last, Paramount called and we came and we got first row seats. We actually took a group shot, and the Strange New Worlds was there along with Lower Decks, and it was their last season. But what I didn't know is that they were having an after party, and we were invited. I thought we were just having our own after party because we're hanging in. We got the food, we got the open bar. Like, dude, we in it. And they say, no, I see, why is Ethan Peck here? Why is it? What's Tani doing here? What's the producer doing here? So they're joining us. I'm like, oh. So I had a few too many Romulan nails, I will call them, and I met up to Ethan. I said, dude. Out of the iterations of Spock that I have seen, other than Leonard Nimoy, I mean, I love the how you call it, the Kelvin timeline, but he delves more in emotion than anything else. And you're giving us the beginnings of what makes Nimoy. And I tell you two have the one same thing that works. Is that you got that voice. That's that voice that once it's spoken, everybody's listening. It's got that baritone. It's got that thing, and then I actually stepped out and said, "Eso se baja panty también," and he like looked at me for a second and said, "Forget I said that."
It's in Spanish.
And then I translated it and said, "Let's just say that you're the Vulcan Barry White, okay? That's it, bro. You say it, things are gonna happen." He smiled. I'm like, "Oh, we're not looking at me going, you funny bastard."
He was probably really embarrassed.
Yeah, I probably did.
But in that regard, like in certain things, it's okay if they change it. I just feel like. I don't know.
When it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and it shouldn't force it to work, just for the sake of what? Really? What are you doing to make it so? Putting it in there, and then we're gonna call it out. We're gonna call it. We're gonna look at it and say, no, that's not how it goes, bro. You want me to consult? I charge a minimal fee, but I will consult and give you all the facts. She was a fact checker too when she was on production in the background for
I've done it a lot of times.
Luke Cage. That even the actor himself called you.
I wasn't
nerd
a professional fact checker.
You weren't professional, but they knew to refer to you all of a sudden.
Yeah, I got known for being nerdy.
Nosy
nerdy.
And nerdy.
For nerdy, yeah.
You need. That's what.
You need. You do need.
Some of these writers, they come into write for shows that they never watched.
Yeah.
And then just take over.
Yeah.
And they don't read. It could be 20 seasons in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not even looking at one of the seasons.
Yeah, and also too, there's a whole big thing with the whole AI thing, as we were talking about too in previous episodes.
Oh.
That AI can be utilized in certain ways. If you're say they did the script and then say had someone go back in and check it and be like, okay, let's read this or whatever. That's different. Like I wouldn't 100% agree with it, but I get it, right? But if they're just 100% on AI and not fact checking it or not, and just assuming, that's where stuff like this falls through. Because nobody else was probably paying attention to it or was not even aware of it, and it's like now it's there, it's immortalized. So
it's like I said a couple of shows back. I mean, as a tool, it's a good tool, but it's the user. How to utilize that tool. I mean, if you're gonna have it writing for it, fine. Like you said, fact check it. Make sure that what they wrote is okay. Oh no, this is wrong. Got to rewrite this. This is not it. This is not it. And then redo it. Now you have it right. Yes, you use the tool, but you also use your own time to look and make sure this source material is going to be right, because there's a legion of us. And even in Star Wars was the same thing. With Star Wars, when they had the acolytes, people were like, what the hell? What the hell is that? What is that? You know, it's like I said, when I actually said compliments, that it had a good story, but the execution was crap. So nobody did this and said, no, this should be this way, this way, this way. Same thing with this episode. They're going to see this and they're like, what? Are you out of your Vulcan mind? They're going to say that.
Well,
so we just only cross our fingers that that's probably the one incident that does happen. Since now it's an article, I'm sure they're reading it and somebody's getting the talking to.
There's a lot of movies like that.
Yeah, a lot of movies like that, a lot of shows.
And to me, I didn't know about the chat thing. I knew they used it. I didn't think they use it.
Well,
it's a growing tool.
So
it's a growing
Stranger
tool.
Things also got caught for that too, because they did like a mini documentary episode on how they did the last season, and during a scene where they're working on the script, someone took a screenshot of the computer, and there's nothing but ChatGPT and Reddit pages up. So either they were taking fan theories and throwing it into ChatGPT to get the script, and then that's also a fan theory that the Stranger Things was written by the ex-wife. And then that's why after season 3, when she left him, it went downhill because she took the story with her. So we'll see.
It's good to use it, but that's only supposed to be used for a base.
Yeah.
Look, it's a tool. Right. It's how you use it makes the difference.
I'll probably do this, but if you're going to just take it and copy and paste,
no.
You will get
that's when you make it disingenuous in the first place, because it's not genuinely you. It's just whatever it compiled from everything on the internet and said, okay, here's something you would like. And there you go. But you didn't go, no, I don't like this. This got to change.
You don't put details in.
Exactly.
Because if you just say, hey, make me a story of this. Like you're not putting no details. It's going to.
It's like Richu would say,
give me a Star Trek story
matter.
featuring a Benazed.
Yeah.
And
boom.
Yeah.
Done.
Like Jack Richu would say, details matter.
That's why, I have a program there that if I say the guy was walking down the street, for us, we know he was walking on the
street.
Not the computer. He'll literally have him walking on the street. So you have to say he was walking on the sidewalk on the side. So, but Jack doesn't do that. He knows exactly what you want, and so I think that's why they do a copy and paste.
Yeah, it's a literal thing, and you do have to do a copy and paste.
Yeah.
You have to be your own copyright. You have to look at your stuff, whether it's GPT or whatever.
Could it be because they're trying to beat every other show to come out?
Well, that's the thing too.
If there's a budget constraint, I would say so.
I don't know. All I know is that
let me be the first one out before Star Wars or Star Trek, and before this one.
No, I think it's a lack of faith in their art.
Yeah.
I personally think it's them just thinking that if maybe kind of cutting corners to make it go faster in regards to getting it out faster, but I don't think it's in the competition of like anything specific. Everybody's in competition of everybody.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be the first, but everybody wants to be the second. Right?
Oh, of course.
When it comes to those things and whatnot.
Most definitely.
But yeah, I don't know.
It's kind of hard because you don't know. You don't know. And what I do know is one thing is that we need to take another commercial break. Oh, it's done? Oh, well then, I don't have to spend any more money on those. Thank you.
Sweet sorrow.
Very sweet sorrow. But again,
he was reading Jack.
I know.
That's right. He's on the.
I have it here. My ChatGPT says go into a commercial break, but I'm like, okay, I'm gonna scratch that one out. See what happens when you don't double check. But again, Again, another lovely episode. Thank you for being a part of this.
Yes.
And as always, we love bringing it to you. And we love to hear your feedback. Go to our Facebook page. Tell us whatever you want us to tell us. And give us ideas if you want. We'll give you credit for it as well. We're always looking for something, to talk about.
Or we'll just steal it and pretend that we do.
Yeah. No ChatGPT involved. And with that thought, I'm going to say live long and prosper.
Welcome to the zone where geeks collide, where comics and heroes come alive. Marvel, DC, Starfleet in the mix. Lightsabers flash, we're nerding out quick. Nerd